bring in congressional reporter for USA Today, Eliza Collins. She's been all over this healthcare story, and she joins us now from Washington. Eliza, so first of all, what do you make of the Speaker's decision to delay this meeting?
I think that shows that they don't have the votes. I mean, I think they don't have substantial changes to the bill that they can present. And, you know, you can't go out there and say we don't have the votes and we haven't made changes that will get us the votes. So let's talk about it. I think they're going to wait until they see what happens with President Trump and the Freedom Caucus. And in some ways, the Freedom Caucus and Trump have kind of gone around House leadership on negotiations on this. So I think that they're letting them do their thing and hoping that Trump can bring them on board.
So we know that there's plenty of deal-making and arm-twisting still to be done. What can Speaker Ryan and the White House do to get enough of those Republican holdouts to change their minds?
Well, you said there, from your count, 9 votes. I think it kind of, there's different roles. So Speaker Ryan last night called moderates in. Those are the people that are concerned about things like Medicaid, concerned about people losing coverage. He brought them in late last night to have a conversation. We haven't heard switches, but those, I would imagine, would be announced this morning if they came out of that. While President Trump, who's kind of more closely aligned with the Freedom Caucus, he's talking to them. He's very close with the chairman, Mark Meadows. They talk multiple times a day. Meadows campaigned with him on the trail. So I think they're kind of dividing and conquering the types of people that they can best appeal to.
So as we mentioned, Eliza, President Trump will meet with members of the House Freedom Caucus at the White House at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Now, earlier this week, he warned them that he would, quote, come after them if they vote no on this bill. Do you think he'll take a similar approach in their conversation today?
So it's important to note that everybody I talked to from the Freedom Caucus that came out of that meeting said he was just kidding. Meadows and Trump are close, and as of now, I think it was kind of Trump, being the New Yorker he is, joking, saying, all right, Meadows, I'm going to come after you. That said, Trump doesn't really like when people cross him. And if this bill sinks, that will hurt Trump, who campaigned on repealing Obamacare. It would be his first big win. And so I wonder, you know, I asked some Freedom Caucus members, are you scared of him turning his Twitter on you? And they all say, no. But, you know, if they really sink it, I think they might be.
That's funny, but I guess it is a weapon of some level of destruction, I suppose.
It's been a very potent weapon.
Yeah.
It has been proven to be a very potent weapon.
So listen, if the meeting comes to a close and the whip count still looks pretty shaky, do you expect that Speaker Ryan will still put this bill on the floor for a vote? I mean, a couple of weeks ago, he said it's going to be voted on this date no matter what, and let the chips fall where they may.
Right, and Sean Spicer said there is no B plan. This is it.
But now what do you think? Could they delay it?
Well, like you said, Ryan is still taking that approach. He's saying we're moving forward. This is going to happen. This is our only option. The things you're asking for will be addressed later on in those buckets 2 and 3, which are, of course, later phases that will use different processes, different rules to address. Now, that Freedom Caucus guys say, this isn't going to happen in 2 and 3. We have to get it all done now. I think that Ryan right now is not going to let them think he's going to delay the vote, because then they'll continue to move on their way. But I also can't see how he brings something to the floor that's going to fail. So I think we're all wait and see right now.
I wonder, though, Eliza, if President Trump really wants to get the floor to the bill, will he push Ryan to do so, even if the Speaker says, look, we may not get it through? Just because the idea of delaying it would give to a lot of people the sense that the bill was not able to pass, and that would reflect on President Trump, something he doesn't really like.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a very good point. We saw Representative Tom Cole, who said he will vote for the bill yesterday, say, let's bring it to the floor. Let's get everybody who's going to vote against it on record, and they can go home and answer to their constituents. So I think that you definitely do see that school of thought within the House. They're like, you know, if these guys are going to sink this bill, let them answer for it. I'm not sure where Trump leans on this. I think if it fails, it would reflect as a failure to Trump. But at the same time, if Trump says, you know, I did all I can do, let these guys go out on their own, that could also be a good tactic for him. And
there's something we haven't really mentioned, which is the Koch money, right? I mean, they've talked about the Koch brothers, who are very influential in Republican politics, have said, look, if you vote no on this bill, we will give you money to defend any attacks from other candidates who may try to take your seat, right?
Right. And I did talk to someone from Meadows' team late last night, and I asked, what's going on with that? He said that's not on our radar. I'd imagine that promises of money in future elections is somewhere on their radar, even if they're not saying so. But it's not just the Koch brothers. We saw Club for Growth, Freedom Works, Tea Party Patriots. Those are all really influential groups. The Heritage Foundation. So those are really influential groups for conservatives. All say they're going to key vote, which basically means they're going to say this is a critical vote, and they'll have on their website and on their ratings who voted for and who voted against. And it kind of goes back to rating each lawmaker on how conservative they are. That all matters. Even if they say it doesn't, when they go back to these more conservative constituencies and they key voted the wrong way, or Trump has threatened to primary people. I think this all really does matter.
Yeah, indeed. Eliza Collins of USA Today. Thank you so much, Eliza.
Thanks for having me.